Try to tell y'all, we're doing interviews on interviews, okay? Live on the Rico No Suave show, podcast time. All right. What's good? Borico Green. Let's go, Nancy. You know what it is. So y'all just, I'm gonna give y'all the time to listen in with us, and then we're gonna go. I heard that. Let's go. I'm sworn African and Italian. So you guys going in. I'm not gonna be able to look back a lot because I'm gonna be doing this interview. But I just wanted to let y'all know just to see what we do. Give y'all behind the scenes, and then we're gonna go from there. All right. Here we go. Let's go. Yes, sir. So y'all enjoy. All right. Here goes. Here we go. Live time. Time to get on with the Rico No Suave show. Pretty native, how you doing? Make sure y'all tap in. It's live interview time. Just on the podcast over online. So make sure you guys go to E360. Rico No Suave. That's his stuff. Click on his link, and you can tap in and check out the live. Okay. Let's go. Let's ride. I appreciate y'all. Let's see. Activate Legend. Angels up. And whatever you guys hear, if you guys have any questions, you guys go ahead and send them to me and I'll answer them for you. Especially when I go live with you guys again when I'm training. Okay? What's up, bro? On the pro. What's good? All right, y'all. I hope y'all are having a great day. I can tell y'all we got a lot of things going on. Here we go. And let the show begin. Yeah. Here we go, y'all.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome back. It is your boy, Rico No Suave. Oh, wait. Oh, man. I am super happy to be back with each and every one of you guys. You know, I always missed you, and I missed you just like my anniversary party for the previous show itself. I want to thank you all for actually showing some love for our 6th-year anniversary. We're going in our 7th year right now. So want to thank everybody. Gracias a todo mi gente, and thank you guys so much. I love all of your support, and I'm just so happy to be back. I'm so super, super happy to be back. You already know it's me. It's just me, and it's you now. All right, everybody. It's story time. Yeah, story time. Everyone, real quick. I went to Iowa. I love to fish. One of the things about fishing for me is catching fish, of course, right? I mean, that's why you go fishing, right? And you catch fish. So one of the things is that when you're actually fishing, there's levels to waters that actually happens. And one of the things about the levels of water is when I went before, maybe a few weeks ago, because I just went this past weekend, but the weekend before that, the levels were super high. It was beautiful. Big shout out to everybody in Iowa. I went to this place called Ice Harbor. Man, went out there casting, catching a few fish. It was lovely. I went out there this past week, evidently didn't know that the water was going to dry up that fast, thinking it was going to still be the same way, and it didn't happen. I said, okay, all right, cool. So me being from Illinois, there's the Iowa side, and then when you cross the bridge, there's the Illinois side. Didn't know Illinois was going to be that close. So you need a fishing license, right? And when you need a fishing license, people You know, they come. You have the wardens that come through. I call them the wardens, but you got the rangers that come through, and they say, "Hey, we just want to check to make sure that you have your fishing license and good stuff like this." So I was like, "Okay, cool." On the Iowa side, it was not a problem. I'm like, you know what? I got a year license. I am ready. Right? I'm good. So I went across the bridge. And I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm from Illinois. I didn't think I need a license just to fish in Illinois because I'm a resident here. I have my privileges to actually just fish in Illinois. So I'm fishing, having a great time. I'm catching, I caught some catfish and caught silver bass. It was super cool. So I didn't think about it at all. And the ranger came over and said, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "Hey, how's it going?" I said, "Man, I was just on the Iowa side, and I got my license for Iowa side." I said, "What side is this?" All of a sudden, I just got dumb. I was like, "Hey," he said, "This is the Illinois side." "Oh, well, I'm from Illinois." He said, "Yeah, where from?" I said, "I'm from the South Loop area." I said, "Oh, okay, cool. I used to live in Illinois." I said, "Okay, cool." I said, "Yeah, I'm a resident of Illinois." So he's like, "Well, do you have a license for Illinois?" I said, "Yeah." So I showed him my ID, my ID license. He's like, "Oh, okay, thank you." He said, "Do you have um, a fishing license for Illinois?" I said, "Well, I'm from Illinois. Why do I need a license if I live in Illinois?" he started to laugh, everybody, because he known that I was privileged. He thought I was privileged, and he thought that I actually said, "Hey, you know what? I know, and you're proud to be a Illinoisan. It's good that but you need a license to fish in Illinois." I'm like, man. I said, I got a license for Wisconsin. I got a license for Iowa. I got a license for Minnesota. But I don't have a license for Illinois because I didn't think I needed it. And then I thought about it, I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get it now. He said, "Well, sir, you got to come with me because I got to just I'm going to give you a warning because you're so proud to be in Illinois." I'm going to just give you a warning and you can go off with that. So, everybody, what happens is that I was super embarrassed because people were looking at me going to the car. They thought I was about to get arrested over some fishing. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. So what I did was I just went ahead and bought a 3-year because I never wanted to go through this again. That is story time, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. I got to introduce this gentleman. Man, me and this gentleman kicked it off. Super humble guy. Love this guy. Love everything that he's been doing. You've probably seen him in Boneyard with Mel Gibson and also with 50 Cent. He is an actor upon actors. This gentleman here, ladies, just, don't get crazy. Don't get crazy because I know some of y'all probably are going to get really super excited because of this man's body, ethic, and muscles and all of that stuff. But we just got to get to him because I know you guys are going to go crazy. I want you guys to put your hands together for none other than my guy, JT Tomangi. Let's go. Yeah. JT.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Appreciate you, brother. How you doing, bro?
What's up, buddy?
Rico. Man, I'm doing great. How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. How about you?
Man, hey, JT, I'm super happy to have you on the show, man. Hey, you starting off my 7-year anniversary, man, and this is a show that I've been looking forward to for quite some time, and you being on this show, man, you're the bomb, bro. You are the bomb. Are you ready?
Bro. I'm ready.
Let's get it on. Do you have any shout outs you want to give out to anybody before we get started with these questions?
Oh man. Shout out to my team. Okay. All my circle. They know who they are. My family, close friends, and all the legendary names all around the globe. And also to you and your team, Rico. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
And last but not least, my grandmother. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Mom.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So we're saying we got a nice little echo going on here real quick. But hey, what I want you to do is let's start off with this first question first.
Let's
Get you
get it.
started. Hey, the challenges that you had, as a child, what were the challenges and how did that keep you motivated to be able to get through childhood to make it to where you're at right now?
That's a
That's a
great
great
question.
question.
The
The
first
first
thing,
thing,
the
the
first
first
challenge
challenge
was
was
trying
trying
to
to
figure
figure
out
out
how to
how to
adapt to
adapt
the
to the
many
many
different
different
families
families
that I stayed with, right? So I was trying to figure out where do I fit because growing up in the system and growing up with many different families, you don't know uh, what each family is going to entail. Okay, everybody has a different dynamic of how they live, and I just had to figure out how I was going to fit into those families and not feel like an outcast so much. I think that's the biggest thing about being a kid in the system. Um, you you just don't know. It's always a toss up, right? And then we just try to figure out like who are we in that moment. And what was my driving force was always seeing other kids that were with me and all of us sharing our stories. And I just knew that I was not going to let this system define who I was going to be as a person and as a man when I became older. So that was my driving force. And I was always rejected. I think that's why being in this entertainment business, it has become not easy, but more prevalent to me to understand what rejection is. When a lot of people come into the entertainment business, that's probably the number one thing that deters everybody from wanting to become a successful actor, model, or artist. Everybody thinks that it's going to happen just like that,
Right.
but it's not.
Right.
You're going to get more rejections than you are going to get yeses. So that was my driving force to come and be the positive person. And I was always around negativity, so I didn't want to be that when I grew up, and that's what it was.
When it comes down to knowing about things that happens in your childhood, because there are memories that actually happens in your childhood that can be the trauma, but also there can be fun times, as if you're hanging out with your friends eating ice cream, or you're by a fire hydrant and you got a lot of water going through, and you're just dancing in
Right.
the street and just being a kid, right? When it
Yes.
comes down to growing up with for yourself, because there was that challenge of you staying motivated through that, and you seeing what other kids were actually going through that was kind of a little bit more privileged in some cases, in regards to saying, hey, I have access to these things, but I don't. you
Right.
know it's almost like there is a bright light at the end of the tunnel when you were actually going through your challenges and knowing that you were going through those challenges. Were you in school? Let's talk about a little bit in school as far as in your childhood, going into your teenage years. Was
Yeah.
there a specific like subject or study that you actually loved when you were actually going through school?
Man, you are the first person to ask about that.
What's up?
Um, so I loved spelling. For some reason, I was good at it. I was entered into the spelling bee and made it to nationals. A lot of people don't know that. And then I was a big historian buff. So social studies was my another favorite subject of mine, and I got to make it to the nationals for the geography B, and those
Nice.
things helped me. Even though I got at an early age, I was introduced to the streets. I still found peace in that, knowing that I was still a smart kid,
Yeah.
and I knew what I was surrounded by with being in the street life. But I never wanted to be that one where you would think that I was just because I was running the streets, I was stupid. I
Right.
never wanted to be that person.
Right.
And the OGs would always tell me, like, you can be a gangster all you want, but what happens if you was a smart gangster? And I used to be
Mm-hmm.
like, man, y'all tripping. Man, you ain't about to tell me you ain't no smart. They'd be like, you'll be very surprised. They'll be
Mm-hmm.
like, you'll be very surprised. And one thing about me, man, that my father told me when I got back with my family and even my siblings, even now, one of the things that God gave me that he blessed me with was the gift to listen to people.
Yeah.
I've always had the gift to listen, man, and being in the system and then running the streets, you have to be very aware of your surroundings
Yeah.
and then listen to what people have to say because you really got to be like, okay, what are they really trying to say between the lines, you know? And that's how it is in the entertainment business. You have to read between the lines when you're on set, behind the scenes, coming into pre-production, you know. So yeah, those were my two favorite subjects growing up. And then I've been to a lot of different schools, as you could tell, moving to very different states. But I always made sure that I never let my studies slip because I did not want to be another statistics of being just a gangster. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't do it, man. So yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I really love that you were a smart gangster. You know what I mean? Because the one thing about you being a smart gangster, bro, was that you had the intelligence to be able to do
yes,
business, know the street life.
yes, sir. Facts. That
You know what I
is the truth, brother.
mean? And,
Yes, sir.
and to be able to do the things you know how to get away with things, but in a way of helping other people that you could be role models for in the streets to be
Right.
able to get out of the streets. Now,
That's it.
of course, you got to live through the streets to be able to understand how to weave your way, to be able to say, I don't want to be too much on that level, but just enough to be able to get me to where my dream may come true, right? In regards to my talent.
Yes.
And that's the way I think of it. That's the way I think of it as well too, because we all got family and friends that actually was in the streets at one point in time, and then they say, hey, we can only be here for so long because that's going to take us down where we might be 6 feet under, or
Yeah.
we might be in jail, right? Or
That's
we
it.
might be somewhere
Yeah.
where we don't need to be, where we have talent, we need to shine. With you, JT Tomangi, when I tell my friends or I've talked to people about you, even my producer, I talked to them about you. I said,
Thank
you can definitely tell that he's grateful for where he's at and where he's coming from.
you. Yes.
You did legal studies at college,
I
and
sure did.
then you did sports medicine as a minor, if I'm not mistaken, in college as
Yes.
well too.
Dual major.
So
Yes, sir.
when I was thinking about this, you know, and I told the girls, y'all need to hold on to yourselves on this one because when I show you guys this picture, you got to be careful. It's just JT Tomanji right here.
Yeah.
It's almost like you had it flipped. You
Mm.
focus a lot on your health, your bodybuilding, but then it's almost like you did legal studies to understand where you're going, what not to get caught into, but you were actually super healthy in college. How did those both mesh up in college during that time?
So, man, great questions, brother. The legal studies part took because I always wanted to be a crime scene investigator.
Uh-huh.
And at that time, man, CSI wasn't really uh, real big at that time, but I just felt like if I could just work with the body was always a intriguing piece of just creation that God made for us, man. So I really wanted to know the anatomy of the body, how it works, what makes it work. So we had to work with like cadavers, doing the crime scene investigations. We had to work on dead bodies, like I said, open them up, find out the reasons why they died, or what was the 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 reason for it.
The
Um,
biopsy?
yes, yes,
Got it.
and then we would do all kind of other things, man. And I just wanted to make sure that I was very aware because I already knew, like you said, what the streets had for me.
Yep.
But then I wanted to know the legal side of the illegal things that we were doing back in the day. So
Yeah.
so it made sense. And it's very funny that you said that because when I came in as an athlete and then I became a student athlete, I would always sit in front of the class. And the reason why, Rico, is because the first day that I came in, I won't ever forget, man. It was my calculus teacher in math, and I hate math,
Yeah,
but I
me too.
love numbers now. So
Yeah.
yeah, my calculus professor, man, he saw me walk in, and he was like, oh, you can sit at the back. And I was like, excuse me? And he was like, no, you can sit at the back because I know you're just going to be, the all around athlete and they're going to let you swing it through and I'll give you a C and you can go ahead and, you look like a drug dealer anyway. Oh,
Wow.
man. Though that statement still rings into my ear today.
Yeah.
And it's the things that I share with the kids when I go and speak to them in the juvenile prison facilities or like the YA or foster care systems, right?
Yep.
When he said that, it sparked, when you said what gave me motivation to come out,
Yep.
that sparked my motivation to become one of the best in school. So I was sitting in the front of his class and I became one of the best students in his class.
Let's go.
And when I graduated, I won't ever forget when he said that he was sorry. And he was like, you became one of my best students. And I told him, it's fine, man. Just don't ever judge a book by its cover. And just because you had other student athletes who came before me
Yep.
and acted that way, it doesn't mean that all of us are going to act the same way.
Yep.
So, with that, going into sports medicine, I wanted to do that as a dual major because I was always a gifted athlete, but I was also heavy set.
Okay.
So when I came in, I told coach, man, I was like, yo, coach, I don't want to be a lineman. I want to be a strong safety or a quarterback. And man, my coach looked at me and was like, you said what? And I told him and he said, well, we're going to have a lot of work to do, right? And I told him, yes, I know, but I really want to do it. I believe we could do it. And it took him 15 months, man. I did my redshirt year. It took us 15 months of hard grinding, blood,
Let's
sweat,
go.
and tears
Yes, sir.
every day, man, every single day. And he had dropped me from, I believe I was like 305 at the time, 305 pounds, and he dropped me down to about 195. And then we
Woo.
packed on muscle and
Woo.
got right before the season started. I was at 215.
Woo.
And Rico, when I tell you, I went from wearing nothing but those bodysuits where you cover yourself with sweat outfits,
Yep.
brother. I went from that to cut off shirts, halter tops,
Yeah.
and my siblings, and nobody knew what I was doing because even my siblings were like, "Why are you gone all the time? And what's going on with you?" And I'm like, "I'm working on something." Brother, when
Yeah.
I took that stuff off, they was like, "Damn." I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, I ain't playing with y'all." But it's the it's the same at the same time. It was a double-edged sword because it helped me to understand what people treated me like when I was heavy
Yep.
and what people treat me like now with the body that I formed into
Yes, sir.
in that stage.
Yes,
So
sir.
now when I see people that are heavy set, I always encourage them, no matter where I'm at. I always be like, yo, I'm proud of you, especially in the gyms. If I see them working, I always take the time to be like, excuse me real quick. And they'll be like, well, what you want? Especially the dudes. Because, everybody is like, yo, what the hell you want? You looking
Right.
like that trying to walk up to me.
Right.
They'll be like, yo, what's up? I'll be like, I just want to say, I'm proud of you, bro. I used to be big. Keep doing what you're doing. And they'll look at me and their whole demeanor changes
Yep.
because you never know, man, what a person needs in that day, in that moment.
Yep.
You just got to make sure that you understand, man. So I'm always grateful for where I'm at, like you said, and then I'm grateful for the health that I have now because I wasn't always like this. I was always full blooded Samoan back in the day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Those,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I was the big body.
Cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Hey, Sundays. You remember cheeseburger Sundays
Yes, sir.
at McDonald's?
Yep.
You better quit playing, Doc. You better quit playing, Doc. Come on
Hey
now.
man, hey,
Yep.
I ain't gonna
You
lie,
better.
man. I ain't gonna lie. We had something was called there was something that we actually had where I love cheeseburgers back in the day, and I still love cheeseburgers, but not as much. But
Right.
there was the double cheeseburgers. We called it the Big Mickey, right? And they used to call me Big Ricky. When the cheeseburgers came out, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm like, yeah, because I love the double cheeseburger so much from this place called Big Mickey's, and
Okay.
man, congratulations on that, man. And I'm
Thank
so
you, brother.
glad that everybody is hearing, that success story, but also you're taking it to the level of understanding where people may be going because it's not easy to be able to do that. I
No.
have a question in regards to the challenges in regards to transitioning your weight. Because you went to legal studies, you were focusing on that to understand what is the things you should do and things you shouldn't do, which is really awesome. I think a lot of people should really understand that because contracts is involved, but also things from a street life. You know what to be able to get yourself into and get out of it as well too. But this also
Exactly.
comes into play when you're actually staying healthy while doing that, while studying. You're keeping your mind fresh. When you're working out, you're keeping your mind accurate. Your bloodstream is flowing real clear, and you have motivation from your coaches as well
Yes.
too. That transition of when you start seeing your body change, what was that feeling like in between that time of when you were at 300 and something pounds and then you got down to 250 or maybe
250. Ooh.
230, 230, right? What was that
Yeah.
feeling like?
That feeling right there. Oh, you hit it right on the spot. It took me 6 months to get to 255. And before then, Rico, I never had taken off any of my clothes to look at myself. I was always body conscious.
Yeah,
So I still see that fat kid sometimes in the mirror.
sure,
And people look at me like you crazy, but it's a thing. It's a thing with people who have been big before.
sure.
You can't understand it if you've never been big, right?
Yeah,
Uh, so that feeling when coach told me, yo, you need to strip down to your boxes. And I said, what? He was like, yeah, just strip down to your boxes. Coach House knew what it was going to do to my mentality and to the motivation that was going to be in me once looked in the mirror and saw that my body had shifted into a whole nother gear. So I remember taking it off, Rico, and I stood on he had me stand on the weight machine, and there was a big mirror right to the right side. And he goes, okay, how much do you weigh? And I was like, 255.3. So I'm already juiced that I'm at 255. And I'm like,
yeah,
yes. So I don't even look at my body, right? But I'm looking at the weight.
yeah,
So he goes, step to the right. And it was almost like I was cringing, like, damn, man, I do not want to look at my body right now.
yeah.
He said, step to the right. And I said, all right, cool. I stepped to the right, looked, and it was the first time where I started seeing like
The six.
abs. Yeah, it started coming through, and then the chest started to develop. My shoulders started to develop. I started to get chiseled arms. Man, bro, I looked at my legs and I looked at them and I said, I'll see you tomorrow, first thing in the
Nice.
morning. And I
Yes,
started
sir.
from that,
Let's
yeah,
go.
from that day, it was almost like he gave me almost like a candy that you always wanted, but your parents used to tell you no because it was
Yeah.
bad for you,
Uh huh.
or like a banana split, and
Yes.
I was like, yeah, that's it. That's it right there.
Let's go.
And I'll tell you, from that day forward, he never beat me to the gym. Never. And
Nice.
his wife, she cried when she saw me, man. She just could not believe it. But she knew the hard work that her husband and myself were putting in and day out. So yeah, man, that was probably one of the greatest feelings in the world, man. To see myself there. And then I knew that was the ticket to flip that switch. And I've never flipped that switch off since then.
Come on.
Yeah.
Man, that's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, JT.
Thank you,
Oh
bro.
man,
Appreciate you,
dude.
bro. Thank you, man.
Man, I'm super proud. I'm so glad that you're here telling
Thank
us
you.
this story, man. A lot of people need to be able to hear this type of transition
Thank you.
that may be going through things like this. And
Right.
coming from you makes a big difference because of you as a movie actor right now. But the story still goes on. Before we take a commercial break, I do want to, acknowledge the fact of what people go viral for when they have an obesity problem or anorexic. I'm gonna talk about that as
Mm,
well too, because
mm,
sometimes people think
that's good.
that they're actually overweight all the time and they can be skinny as a pea, right?
Yes.
As a pea pod, right?
Yes.
And I think what happens is that for you and being that kind of a role model of, hey, it didn't just take me overnight or a few weeks for me to get this way. My metabolism don't work that way. It's
Right.
more of how you actually took it to a level of inspiration. You needed that inspiration for someone to connect with you. Not everybody has that though. Not everybody has
Right.
that connection with a trainer or someone to be able to help you get to that level. So, what was the
Yeah.
names of the people that? What was the husband and wife name?
Oh man, that was Coach House. That was
Coach
Mr. and
House.
Mrs. House. Yeah,
Let's
he was our
go.
strength and conditioning coach.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're still close to this day.
Let's go.
And he's like, "You still have not let up, huh?" I said, "Nah, coach, what you think this is, bro?"
Let's
He said, I said, "Nah." And I call Mrs. House, I call her Mama House.
All
And
right.
she just like, yeah, she's so proud, man. And I can't thank them enough, man, for the hard work that he sacrificed a lot because at that time he wasn't only just coaching us, but he had his kids that he had to worry about, a wife. You for anybody who's been married, I've never been married before, but for those married folks, especially with kids, and then being a coach at that time, he had so much going on. But then he was committed, consistent, and faithful. And I always say that to my followers, my supporters also. If
Yeah.
you let people give you 1 year, man, just 1 year, it usually takes 1 year for a person to see the commitment, the consistency, and the faithfulness of a person that will help you to get to where you need to get to. It only takes 1 year, So uh, he did that, man. He did that day in and day out. We spent numerous hours in the gym, on the field. He helped me with my classwork also. He took me on trips. He
Let's
fathered
go.
me.
Let's
You
go.
know what I'm saying? He did
Let's
things
go.
outside of his job.
Yeah.
And like you said, those are people that we need in our lives, man. And I still thank him to this day, man. You know, yeah, we'll shoot the stuff here and there, and we got some jokes here and there. But
Yes, sir.
at the end of the day, he knows that if him and his wife ever needed me, I'll show up with no questions asked.
Let's
So
go. Coach
yeah,
House, Miss Mama
yes, sir.
House. It's whose house? Coach
Yeah,
House. You know what I mean?
right.
Let's go.
Oops. Yep.
Hey,
I love it.
JT. Hey, we got 30 seconds. We got to go and pay some bills. We got this
Let's
commercial
go.
break coming up. Everybody, you already know my man JT Tomangi,
Let's
the
go.
movie actor, model, MC, and all of that great stuff here on the Rico No Suave Show. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Let's go.
Let's go. What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Oh yeah, I think we got the link.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It is me, your boy Rico No Suave. You already know my man JT Tomangi. We killing it up in
Let's
here. This
go.
is what we do, man. This is what we do. My guy is here. Hey,
Man,
big shout out to everybody. Hey, there's some people that's actually here right now saying hello. You know I gotta say what's up to everybody that's tuning in. John T for free is here. He says, "Ooh wee, let's get it on. Let's get it
let's
on."
go.
And then, we got Donna Marie Berg checking in. She says, hello, JT. Good to see you. I'm like, yes, yes. And then we have none other than Donna Marie Berg did, have some good words to say. She says, your coach must have loved working with you, helping you to get into shape. He must have felt that he was fortunate to coach you. Because of your story, each part of it is a phenomenon to hear. Thank you,
Mm,
Donna. Appreciate
yes,
that.
thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Donna. Wow.
And then we have my man Carlos Almeida. ¿Cómo está, papá? Thank you so much for actually tuning in with us as well, too. He said, awesome live stream. I said, thank you so much. That's all I can say. I said, thank you so much. So,
That's
let's
that's
get it on.
amazing. That's
Hey,
amazing, bro.
hey, we got to get it on to the next question because you know why?
Yes,
Me
sir.
and you, we'll be here all day. So check this out. So check this out. You did some great work, and I love this about you
Yeah.
because of you came from, if people don't know, now you know, my man came from the streets, became an intelligent gangster, right? And then went into legal studies, started killing
Yeah.
it as far as with sports medicine. Ladies, you already know the body's there, so take it easy, right? It's there, right? Then you came from 305, went down to, went to 30, with 305, came down to 190,
Yeah.
95. You hit it
Yeah.
hard, and then ever since then, you got Mama House, you got Coach House, rocking it out as far as keeping you tame. But what makes you get even smarter was that teacher in calculus that told you, hey, you guys are all the same. He's like, no, I am good. I am not that same guy, and I'm going to
Hmm.
show you. And then he just came back and he says, like Post Malone, congratulations.
That's,
Congratulations, sir.
I love it.
Congratulations. Let's
Yeah.
go. Because you did all of this, right? You did all of
Yeah.
this. The one thing that people always remember great people, humanitarians, of what they do for the community that needs them. You did
Yeah.
volunteer work, group
I did.
homes for juveniles, and etc.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your experience with talking to the juveniles as well as also from the group homes.
Mhm. Those were probably those are some of my greatest experiences being with the youth. Since coming out of college and then being back with my family, and then just going anywhere I went, the youth would always gravitate towards me. And I remember I used to ask my father, like, why is that? And my father used to say, the youth will never lie about things. You can't sugarcoat anything with them. And they gravitate towards people who are real, right?
Right.
Because they don't want to be played with. They Everybody already underestimates them, so they're already like, oh no no, I'm cool. But when they watch how you move, they listen to how you talk. You may think they're not observing you, but they really are. Um, and I'll never forget, man. Every time they come up to me, whenever they ask a question, I answer it to the best of my knowledge, and I'll always keep it real with them. When I always talk to them, I always tell them I'll keep it a buck, and they know what I mean with that.
Yep.
But going to the juvenile prison facilities, the YAs, boot camps, the group home systems that we used to go and talk to, I did a couple of them with Tiffany, and it was great because I got to see myself in some of them. So, like you said, I got to take some of the experiences that I've been through and I got to talk to them about it. And then there comes a time where you just ask them questions because you really want them to start thinking like, oh, damn, I didn't think about that, you know? And I would always come with questions for them because I knew they were already going to ask me like, okay, so how did you get out of it? Or what makes you different from us? And how can you be living a good life now? Because when you're coming up through the streets and you're coming up through a system without a family, the main thing that is always happening is you're always hearing negative words being put into your ear.
Yes,
And
sir.
then those negative words become negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, don't let those negative words hinder you, but use them as motivation
Yeah.
to bring you up out of what you're doing. And I always tell them cards that you think you've been dealt are not to bring you down. You can always reshuffle the deck and then put the cards down again. And I won't ever forget, man, this one kid, he was probably one of the most feared gangsters at the time, man. He was like 15. And I saw so much of myself in him, and man, and we talked. And he had asked me one question, I answered it, and then I asked him a question of what he would want to do in life, right? And he didn't know. And then he asked me, "What do you think I would want to do in life if I ever had a chance to live it to the full?" And I told him, "Travel." And it was
Yeah.
almost like a switch went off in his mind, man. And he was like, "Travel?" I said, "Yeah, because if you travel, you won't be stuck thinking that this is all there is in life."
Yes, sir.
I told him when you travel, there's a whole different perspective of culture,
Yes, sir.
and then there's a whole different perspective of life that you get
Yes.
that
Yes,
you won't
sir.
get just by staying in the United States.
Yes,
And
sir.
that changed his whole life. I'm telling you right now, Rico, he's 23 now,
Uh huh.
and he has sent me a picture. I remember he sent me a picture. He reached out to me on IG, and my social media team was like, "Yo, do you know this dude?" And I won't ever forget. And he had sent me a picture of me and him first, and I was like, "I don't know if that's his brother or something." And then he wrote this long text, bro. And I remember I screenshot it and I kept it for me. And then I had sent it over to some of my siblings. But he told me that it was him. And he traveled the world, man. And it's
That's
things like
crazy.
that that make it that make it worth. going there to speak to those kids because they don't get people like us that come back to speak to them. And a lot of people that come in, they can't relate because they haven't lived the lives that they've lived or come out of or in, or are in the situations that they're in.
Yeah.
So I remember when I used to come, I remember I came into one of the juvenile prison facilities and one of the guards were like, "Bruh, good luck." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Man, because every speaker we had so far, he's like, man, they never come back, and the kids don't even like them." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's
Wow.
cool." You know me, Rico. I'm like, "Okay,
Right.
I'm not
Right.
them." No, you know what I'm saying? That's the first thing in my mind.
Yes,
So
sir.
I say a little prayer real quick, and I'm like,
Yes,
"Lord,
sir.
I just need you to help me." As soon as I walk through them doors, these young men, just by the appearance of how I walked in, and I said, "Yo, what's cracking?" That was my first words, and they looked up and it was like, "Yo, what's poppin'? What's up?" So
Right.
they can, and it drew them in because they like, "Yo, he didn't come in like, oh, good evening, gentlemen, or
Right.
good evening, boys. How are you guys doing today?" Nah, I came in because I wanted to relate to them.
Yeah.
It's one of the great things about being in the system is you learn how to adapt with so many different things in life, whether it's a person, a place, or a thing. Um, and I've learned how to adapt really well, especially with the youth, because I know that they need somebody who's going to relate to them in their time. They need somebody who's going to be relevant to them. So I said, "What's cracking?" And they immediately came in and was like, "Yo, what's up? What's popping?" And we started just rapping. I was like, "Yo, rap with me, talk to me, get at me." And they was like, "Oh man, these fools over here, talking about all this BS." And I'm like, "It's all good. They just trying to give y'all some knowledge, some common knowledge just to help y'all." They like, "Yeah, well, I'm not trying to hear that." And then you got to break it down for them where you have to meet them where their understanding is at. I
Yep.
always tell other speakers that don't come to these kids speaking all your mumbo jumbo when they don't even understand that type of language. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost us going into an African country or into a Latin country and expecting us to speak African or speak
Spanish.
Latin. And yeah, we don't know one lick of the language, you know?
Yep.
So it was good to do that with them. I got to teach them mixed martial arts.
Nice.
Got to teach them some, yeah, man. I got to teach them some of my stuff that I do for fitness.
Yeah.
So I really had to use my gifts to really engage with them to let them understand, like, damn, I could really do something outside of being on the streets or being in the system. So that's what that was.
I like that, man. Man, congratulations, bro. Once again, I'm gonna keep saying congratulations like it's Post Malone, man. Hey, I'm so proud of you, man, because I do the same thing in a different way. And I do it in a way of because I'm a teacher for dance, right? Salsa, right? Salsa dancing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And one of the things that people always try to say, man, what can I do to stay off these streets? I said, well, one thing what
Mhm.
you can do is you can go and dance and stay fit. You can also go and dance
Man,
and have a great time where you don't have to worry
yes,
about, things that's going to happen with, putting with these guns and these kids that just want to fight. But if you
yes.
actually come out and I can teach you how to dance, then you'll know the type of environment you need to be in. Similar to
That's
what you're
dope.
doing, you're actually getting to their level and telling them to do something different. I clap
Yeah.
my hands to you, man, because you told that gentleman to travel. I think that is the best thing ever for people to see what other cultures are actually doing.
Yes.
And also with the same skin tone as them, and also seeing something
Come
of a
on, brother.
different culture to be able to say, man, this guy got the same, but he talks like from England. He talks like
Yes,
Australian, but it's so good
man.
because there's a relation there, right? There's a
That's it.
relation. I really love that. And even from Spanish standpoint, the darker,
Mhm.
and then they speak Spanish is so cool because you can relate to them, But
That's it.
I love what you did as far as with that and being able to show how to be that role model for people, man, for these young kids, for the new generation. And, you can't save everyone, but you definitely, if
Yeah.
you got to save one, you're doing your job,
That's it.
and that's what I think about as far as what you were doing.
Yeah.
Real quick before we got a couple minutes before we take another break, in
Mhm.
regards to the group homes, I know
Yes.
that group homes also have those, what do you call those, AA meetings or whatever? They actually sit in a circle and then they have
Yeah, yeah,
somebody
yeah.
come in and be. Did you
Yes.
attend or speak for some of those
Yes,
circles?
yeah, we did some at the Dream Center, and then we did some for a program called Dream Something. Me and Tiffany had did one before too. It was for some kids up in Compton, so we did that one. I did a couple up in the Bay Area, a couple over in the South, and then a couple over on the East Coast too. So I've been very fortunate, man, to be able to touch kids from all around the globe. Especially traveling with my father a lot. I won't ever forget my trips to Ghana, Nigeria, South Africa,
Wow.
uh, and then just traveling for work. Yeah, man, I learned a lot, man. And I got to speak to youth all over the globe. So, like you said, man, it's a great big melting pot,
Yeah.
and it's great to learn about different cultures. That's why whenever somebody asks me, man, especially the youth, bro, my first thing is always travel, and it always sparks a you can see the light bulb go off in their head because they're like, damn, I never thought about traveling. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, get you a
Right.
passport and travel,
Yes,
and
sir.
I won't ever forget, like, one of the leaders who were going with me, she had been doing the speaking thing with the youth for like over 10 years. And she said, I've never heard anybody tell the kids to travel. It's always like, oh yeah, you should go be like a firefighter or be a pilot or an astronaut.
Right.
And I was like, look, I came up from the streets and I know what I wanted to do. And when I was blessed to travel with my father around the globe and then to do it for work, it's one of the most eye popping things that, and an experience that can never ever be, what I'm saying, taught. You have to experience that for yourself. And
Yep.
then, like I said, man, you're just more grounded as an individual, and then you understand culture from a whole different aspect of life. So
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Before we go to this commercial break, I got a question for you. I got one question for you. And we talk about cultures, right? If
yes,
there was three languages that you wanted to speak, not the ones that you know right now, but if it was three
yeah.
extra languages that you wanted to speak, which three are they?
One would be Espanol for real because I love
Yep.
salsa and bachata.
Yes,
I
sir.
do all that.
Dale, chico,
Yes, sir.
dale.
So
Uh
when you
huh.
said that, yeah.
Uh huh.
I would like to speak because it's a big language now. It would
Uh-huh.
have to be Chinese, Cantonese,
Nice. Cantonese.
and then
Okay.
I would want to speak Igbo, so
What's the third
which
one?
is African. African
African.
Igbo.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right,
That's it,
everybody,
brother.
you heard it from him. You heard it from me. There's three languages, of course, that he wants to speak, and it's all about traveling just to get you there. You know what I mean? Much
That's
respect to
it.
JT Tomangi because
Yeah.
he's here on the show with us today. The movie actor, the model. Ladies, keep it easy. Take it easy once again. The MC and doing great things as far as
Thank
for
you.
the world to be able to see you. He's here on
Yes, sir.
Rico No Suave Show. All right, JT, you're gonna like this next one because if you like race cars, and Tiffany was there when I saw her in Las Vegas, but she didn't know who I was. I was just a little infant. That's all it was. Everybody, this is NASCAR moments. Everybody,
Let's
NASCAR
go.
moments. You already know. Woo wee! You know, it's all about that vroom vroom and all about
That's it.
loving how to actually see who's going to win. This one
Mm.
here, everybody, this is actually Richmond Raceway. And the reason why I want to show you this is because it's called the paint series, right? So this paint series is how they actually paint the cars so you guys can be able to see how well that the painters actually do, or the artists, I should say the artist that's actually painting these cars itself. Richmond Speedway, of course, is actually coming up, but they actually are dedicating this to, to the artists, to people that actually make these cars look beautiful. So the first one here, of course, is Richmond Build Submarines, of course.com, and you see all of the other sponsors, Goodyear on there. But just so you guys know, this is kind of like a little preview scheme that you actually see the paint scheme preview. Yeah, and I got one more to show you guys. Yeah, this is hunting, I'm sorry. Hunting sale, about the haunting sale. I'm like, oh my God, this sounds like a horror movie. Of course, it's Bass Pro Shops. And I love Bass Pro because I love to fish. Of course, it's also Goodyear. Just so you guys see exactly, big shout out to the artists that actually paint these cars, man, and put the designs for the cars as well, too. They do a great job doing so for NASCAR. So, once again, this is the NASCAR moments. Yeah. Let's get back to JT. Let's get back to JT. Yeah, JT, hey, I saw Tiffany. Tiffany Haddish, of course, your good friend. I saw her over at I think it was last year. I think she was at October in Las Vegas, and
Yep.
it was like Tiffany. I was like, oh yeah, there she is. I was part of the meeting. It was so cool to be able to see her.
Yeah.
She is super hilarious, man. Super fun. So much energy, and
Mhm.
I just love a lot about her, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's my NASCAR moments right there. Did you like that?
I love it. That's
Let's go.
good.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, we got a few more. Hey, we got a few more minutes, and always time fly by fast when me and you was
I
having
know,
fun, man. When me and you have
man.
fun,
Bro.
it's just like that. We got to talk about the big things, JT. The big thing
It's like,
is your acting career. We
mm,
got to talk about. We got to let the world know. You know, how
yeah,
did you get your acting gig? And then tell us about your experience for your acting career, who you work with, what movies you've been at, all that good stuff.
man. The acting career. Oh, good Lord. Um, it's something. Everybody just thinks that people just blow up on the scene, but nah, it took years to get to where I'm at now. But worked on a couple different films as a background actor, did feature roles, and then like I said, I have a mixed martial arts background, so I help a lot of fighters. Um, and then 2021, man, it was a blessing, man. I just got the call from one of the good friends of mine who was a great stunt coordinator, and he called me and he was like, "Hey, we got a couple films that we're gonna start doing, and I need you to get ready, and we'll let you know what's going on." And it was coming out of the pandemic, so it was like the end of the pandemic in
Yeah.
2020, like November, going into 2021. And man, Rico, when I showed up on the scene, man, we started training with UFC Hall of Famer Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Let's
Big
go.
ups to my guy right there. He is so cool. One of the most humblest guys. Him and his stunt double Clint and Rampage Jackson was on that. Chael Sonnen. So it was great to be with those UFC Hall of Famers. It was an exciting time to work with them. It was the first time I ever got to meet my brother now, who we're going to be working on a lot of big projects together. Weston Cage Coppola, who is also known as Nicolas Cage's son. So
Nice.
me and him, yeah, we did a lot on that film. And what originally was going to happen was I was coming in to work on stunts, doing stunt double stuff, and then um, whatever else they needed me to do. You know, I was willing to come in and just do what needed to be done. And Asif Akbar, who is the director, he is one of my brothers too, man. And we have so many projects coming. He gave me the green light to be one of the actors in that first film. And he asked me like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm doing stunts." He said, "Nah, I need you to be one of the actors." I said, "Okay, cool." So he put me in the place of Big Bubba, and I got to have two great fight scenes. And I was with Weston, I mean with Donald, with Cowboy Cerrone. We had two epic fight scenes, and you guys can see that on my social media feeds. We'll be sharing more of that as time goes on. And I was Weston Cage's right hand man in that film. So it was a great film to start off with. And then we didn't know that we were going to be shooting like 6 to 7 more films after that, which was Skeletons in the Closet with Terrence Howard, Cuba Gooding
Yeah.
Jr. And I got to double with them. We had the legends Udo Kier in there. Um, who else did we have? We had Valerie Ortiz. We had a lot of great actors and actresses in there, and we just went to work. That was a great one. That was a horror thriller film, and then we went straight to New Mexico. Shot Shrapnel, which is with Cam Gigante from Twilight.
Yeah.
Uh, and then Jason Patrick from Lost Boys. Those were both the
Oh,
leads.
Lost
We have,
Boys. Yes.
yeah, yeah. For those of y'all that don't know the Lost Boys, y'all gotta look it up.
That's a good
Um,
movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we had a lot of great big time Latin actors and actresses in there. Um, and we went to work over there, man. And then we had M9 Do or Die, which is with Frank Grillo. Michael J. White,
Yeah.
myself. We had ABM Suman from India. We had a lot of other people on there, and I got to stunt double for Michael J. White, which is probably one of my all-time greatest moments in acting so far because I watched him growing up, and to work with him, to learn from him, even with Terrence Howard in Cuba, like
Yeah.
it was surreal because I was sitting here, even with Cowboy Cerrone and them, it was just a surreal moment because I'm like, yo, like I really get to work with these people, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool because none of them had the man, what do I want to say? None of them had the, oh, don't come talk to me, and I'm not trying to teach you anything else, you know, because in the entertainment industry, at the end of the day, it's still a competition between actors and actresses, you
Sure.
know, and then once you get in the door and you're in that circle where your name is going circular in that motion where you're going in the films,
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about that no more because
Exactly.
everybody knows who you are and they'll keep calling you. But when you're coming in, man, it can be hard to get in because a lot of people don't want new faces to come in, you know.
Sure. Sure.
But yeah, we worked on that. Then we worked on another film, which is Boneyard with 50 Cent, Mel
I was waiting for
Gibson.
you to say that one.
Oh yeah, Weston Cage, your boy was in it. Played gangster, which was cool because that's where I come from.
Yeah.
And now we got so many other stuff coming, you know. And it was a blessing, man. We got to Uh, we were ranked we were ranked number one on two different streaming apps with two different films, which is very hard to do. Boneyard, which was on Amazon Prime, which is still running. I think it's in top five still worldwide. Thank you
Nice.
to everyone, all the supporters out there who are continually making it a blockbuster summer smash.
Yes, sir.
Emerald
Yes,
Nine,
sir.
Do or Die is number one on the Stars app. And
Let's go.
you know we're going up against 50 in that Joker.
I
You
know.
know,
I
so
know.
for
I
us,
know.
yeah, for us to be
That's a
number
lot of
one in
power
there,
there.
man, is yeah, exactly. So, you know, for us to be number one there, it's a blessing, man. So we've been very fortunate, very blessed to be in those spots. Thank all the supporters to all the teams for both films,
Yeah.
the directors, you know, who made those things happen. Now we've been greenlit for sequels. We got MR9 Sky Dancer that's coming because it's going to be one big saga. Uh, we start that at the end of this year. We have the docu series that's going to start for Boneyard. Then I have a big project with Weston Cage Coppola. We have a TV series called Red Sanctuary, and that's I'm gonna leave it there because we got the cast on there. The cast on there is dynamic. I'm telling y'all gotta just wait, okay? And
Let's
then we
go.
got another project that I'll be doing with a CFOC bar, which is going to be about foster care kids. I'm gonna be talking with Tiffany Haddish about that. He wants her to come on, so I'll be talking with her, see what she thinks about it. We're gonna talk about it, and then go from there. I got the script. I read over it. I really love films with substance.
Yeah.
Um, I
With
remember,
purpose.
yes, I remember Terrence Howard had asked me a great question when I was with him, and we were shooting on Skeleton in the Closet, and he's so smart, and he had asked me like, "You want to be an actor now?" And I said, "Yes, that's what I want to do now. Everybody believes it's time, so I want to do it." And he said, "Okay, good." He said, "Who would you want your acting career to kind of mirror?" And I had never thought about that until that day. And I remember telling him specifically, and it's still gonna stay until whenever my last breath is. But I told him that I want my acting career to mirror Chadwick Boseman.
Oh,
And I'll tell you
wow.
why. I'll tell you why because uh, he started his career with not these elaborate um, roles. He did films with substance, and then he went about and picked roles that like a Jackie Robinson, 42,
Yeah.
um, James Brown. He took, and of course Black Panther.
Yeah.
He took on the roles that he knew that were going to be very um, very hard in the sense of how is it going to affect the culture
Yeah.
and the climate of society, right?
Yeah.
And then he wanted to make sure to let people know, like, yo, I'm not just an actor, but I'm someone who wants to advocate for change, not just in the black community, but for all people of color, you know.
Yeah.
And I got to meet him 3 times, and we had great conversations, man. And yeah, so his when Terrence had asked me that, that's exactly who I told Terrence my acting career. That is who I want to marry, and we're starting to get that now, you know. And it's always it's in my journal entry. It's on my vision board, and you know, he was a great man. He wasn't just a great actor, but he was a great man, a great person to follow. He was a great leader,
Yeah.
and he helped to grow a lot of young actors into who they are today, you know.
Yes, sir.
And he always spoke with great wisdom, you know. And yeah, man. So we just have so much going on, man. So many things coming. Um, so yeah, that's what we got going on, bro.
My
A lot
man.
of things.
Hey, you know, like I said, it's like me and you sitting down just talking over a cup of coffee and some donuts. You know, I have to say, like,
Yes, sir.
you know, this conversation that we had, man, I have to say that I'm intrigued in regards to the flow, the process of how people see you as great talent
Yes.
from locals to juveniles to people that look up to you and
Yeah.
even to actors for them for Terrence Howard to even ask you who do you want to mirror yourself
Yeah.
and I guess by the personality wise and being humble from that standpoint, I think it makes sense in regards to who you want to be a role model after and
Yeah.
because rest in peace to him. I think if you continue on this road, you'll be the next one, but you'll be, of course, JT Tomangi version of
Yes.
who he needs to be that role model, and taking all of that inspiration and everything of substance. You made that word substance very
Yes.
clear that you
Yeah.
want something of substance. So, man, congratulations to you, my man. Congratulations. And
Thank you, man.
the
You too, man.
time is always on our side, but today
Yes, sir.
it's not. But I got something for you, though. I got something
Yeah.
for you. Because now when Terrence Howard asks you that next question about, hey,
Yes, sir.
so where are you going in your life? You're gonna say you're gonna be with the Rico No Suave show. So I got
Hey,
this
let's
I
go.
got this shirt for you, man. I got this
Let's
shirt
go.
for
I
you.
appreciate you, brother. Thank you, bro.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much, man.
Hey, this shirt
Hey,
right here is definitely, you are a gem of the world. You're gonna continue to shine and
thank
you're going to basically be forever in people's hearts because of where you came from, my man. You have done so many great things for people to know that, hey, you as a person, you're going to shine through people's lives. You're going to tell them, hey, you shouldn't do that, or you should
you.
do that. You're going to keep it real, but then at the same
Right.
time too, for people to understand on your level, all of the movies that you played in, all of the actors that's following you, all of the good friends that is going to be
Yeah.
there supporting you, like myself. So with this shirt, my man, we present to you the Rico No Suave show. Welcome to the family, Papa. Welcome to the
Hey, thank you.
family,
Thank
man.
you. Blessings.
Let's
Appreciate you,
go.
bro. Thank you.
Hey,
Hey, and happy 7th year. It's
it's
the seventh
a
year. Let's
seventh
go.
year now.
Yes, sir. I'm with it. That's completion, baby.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I
Man,
appreciate you. We're
thank
going to put
you.
up your social
Appreciate you.
media, JT. We're going to put
Okay.
up your social media so people can actually follow you. So the first one is Facebook, JT Tomangi. Everybody, make sure you guys go and follow him on Facebook. Don't spam him. Say you saw him on the Rico No Suave show, so he knows to accept you. The man's getting bigger, so you got to be careful how many followers he got. And then we have the next one, of course, JT Tomanji. This is where it's
Yep.
all at as well, too. Instagram. Make sure you go
Yeah.
and follow him on Instagram, también. And last but not least, you already know it is about that tick tock,
Let's go.
tick tock. Make sure you go and check him out, JT Tomanji. He always go live on
Mhm.
TikTok. He got a lot of great videos there, always up and coming stuff. So,
Thank you.
JT,
Yes,
it's a
sir.
pleasure, man. I had a good
Man,
time.
pleasure, bro. Thank you so much for having me. You and your team, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank
Keep
you.
being great, man. Keep
I
doing it.
will.
I'm gonna see you again on the flip side.
You know,
Oh yeah,
that's what we do, man. We're on the other side, and
that's it.
we don't want the whole world to know, but I will see you
Right.
soon. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everybody put your
Man.
hands together for none other than JT Tomangi. All right, Papa,
Thank you.
I'll see you
Appreciate you.
later, okay?
All right, bro. Be safe, brother.
Yes,
Appreciate you,
sir.
bro.
Ciao,
All right.
man. See ya.
Ciao.
All right, everybody, that was my man JT Tomangi. This is just another level two going into our 7th year here on the Rico No Suave show. Thank you guys so much for your support and your love. Love you guys all because JT Tomangi is the man. And I'm so glad to start off my new year, 7th year, with none other than a great movie actor. You know, he's a model, also an MC, and doing great things. Of course, you know, we're going to have to be in that project as well, too. But we got to show you our social media, everybody, because, you know, you got to know what we're about, you know? And here's our first one, www.riconosuaveshow.com. Yes, you already know. That is where you'll find out a lot more information about us and past videos as well, too. Here's the next one. Here we go. Kaboom. At Rico No Suave Show, everybody. Yeah, you already know Instagram. Yes, Instagram. Make sure you go and follow us there. And here's our next one. You already know Facebook. Rico No Suave Show. Like and love everything we doing there. Make sure you go ahead and follow us there. And here's the next one. Next one is important. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Yes, make sure you go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's right there, everybody. Make sure you go and subscribe. Rico No Suave Show. Show us some love. Last but not least, you know, Mixcloud turns into a podcast, right? So it turns into the audio piece while you're driving. Listen in and enjoy. Yes, and and of course you'll get notified. So make sure you go and get that free account. Everybody, thank you guys so much for a great time here on the Rico No Suave Show. And of course, we'll see you next time as we end off the show just like this, darling.